All right, welcome back to Americans Talk FPL. This is Game Week 37 plus. I'm your co-host Jason, and I'm here with my other co-host Barat, who is on the road
Hey,
this
what's up,
week.
everyone? Yeah, I'm on the road right now. Unfortunately, had some car issues, my tire popped, so unable to film live, really.
Yeah, so this week you won't see our faces in the bottom corner. I know that's probably devastating for most of you. Others might consider it a positive. I don't know. But either way, it's just our beautiful voices this week.
Not sure about that one either.
Yeah, same here, unfortunately. But anyways, we've been doing this podcast or slash YouTube channel for most of this season now. But we've been playing fantasy for 15 plus years. Plenty of experience here. Um, Many top finishes. We've kind of been doing this before the official game was even a thing, back when it was just Yahoo. So lots of years experience to count on for this. And now we're here to guide you guys to help get green arrows.
Yeah, plenty of top 500 finishes, 250. And Jason, another excellent week for you as well. Yeah, finally, you're in the top 40K, I believe.
Yeah, 34K now. At the beginning of Project Restart, I was sitting at 167K. Now I'm at 34K. That should be an inspiration to everyone out there that you can do the same.
Yeah, hats off to you, man. I think you're only 30 some points from top 10K. I think that's the goal for you now.
Yeah, I definitely want top 20K for sure, but 10K is definitely the goal. But just remember, if I can do it, you can do it. So just follow along. I think we'll all be good.
Yeah,
All right, let's.
yeah. Not a huge big game week 36. Kind of a lot of people had lower points than expected. A lot of people got burnt by Man City. Yeah, Jason.
Yeah, definitely Man City. We all kind of had a feeling it was going to happen. Then it happened, and those who captained Sterling or took hits to bring him in or whatever got burned pretty bad. Um,
Right.
yeah, it was definitely unfortunate. Now Chelsea
Yeah.
didn't exactly blow away Norwich either, so overall it could have been better. I thought it was going to be a more explosive game week, but
Yeah.
at least United came
Yeah.
through.
So we'll finish up the recap on game 36. We'll go over our watch list, how we did, and then our recommendations in this episode. Isn't that right, Jason?
Absolutely. With that being said,
Uh,
let's dive into it.
Sounds good. Again, if you guys enjoy the content, please like, subscribe. We'd be willing to help you guys out in the comments too, rating your teams as well.
Absolutely. I like to think we give great advice. So far, I think it's been on point. So,
Yeah, not too bad. You know,
yeah, we'll help share the green arrows. All
top
right.
40K, not too bad.
Yeah. All right, let's dive into the Game Week 36 plus recap so far. Just a reminder that Watford West Ham has not happened yet as of this filming, so that will not be included in our analysis. All right, first on the list, Chelsea against Norwich. We were expecting big fantasy totals here, but they just squeaked out the win. Pulisic got the assist to Giroud, and they got the clean sheet. Any thoughts on that one? Disappointed?
Um, yeah, pretty unimpressive, but overall, I'm happy. Like, Pulisic still got me some points. That's really, I only really recommended one or the other, whether that's Pulisic or Willian, and it's not too bad. A
Right.
little disappointing because it's Norwich, but overall not too bad.
Yep. Next on the list, Wolves and Burnley. They ruined each other's clean sheets for most of us. That's kind of how I took it. I guess the big news for Wolves is that Jimenez is on the score sheet again. What do you think about him going forward for these last two matches?
Yeah, so he's kind of been back to, he had those two slump game weeks where everyone took him off. But again, he and Danny Ings have proven to be pretty much Mr. Consistent, but not quite explosive. So really, it kind of just shows you, you gotta stick to the players that you trust before. Try not to make so many hits. Because you gotta have some faith in your boys.
Yep, patience is a virtue. Which unfortunately I did not have, so I transferred him out and missed out on these last 2 game weeks. Unfortunately.
Yeah, pretty much I did the same too. Well, it didn't turn out too bad, but we'll talk about that later.
Yep. All right, moving on to Spurs. Kane and Son both on target, playing in that new system where they're both kind of like forwards. What do you think of Tottenham going forward here? Like looking pretty good after that match?
Yeah, I'm not high on Spurs assets in general. If you have some, I think probably keep them. They'd make a great differential. Probably especially Harry Kane going forward to these next game weeks. They're still fighting for Europa League, so I think they'll still try hard. Mourinho's kind of finally figured out how to play Kane and Son better, and we're kind of seeing what's happening with that.
Yep, yeah, less time on the wing with Son, so that's definitely been good. Moving on to Arsenal and Liverpool. Arsenal, the shock winners in that one, which means Liverpool can no longer get the points record. So yeah, Liverpool have been pretty sluggish since the restart, and they just kind of continued that.
Yeah, I guess like no matter what Klopp says in the interviews and no matter what the players say, like their actions are speaking louder than their words. They're definitely still on vacation. Overall, though, Liverpool did have more chances than Arsenal, so it was just it was somewhat of an unlucky match for them. I'm still high on Mo Salah. He still had his chances in this game too. Stats look great, and a lot of people are dropping them. So overall, I'm still happy with some Liverpool assets that's now being differential.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get into my Liverpool strategy a bit later on, but for now, we'll just move on to Everton and Villa draw 1-1. Not much fantasy interest there. I would just say let's move on to the next one.
Move on.
Leicester bounced back versus Sheffield. Vardy with an assist. That's probably the biggest fantasy news. Leicester's defense still in tatters, though. So Yunshu suspended for the rest of the regular season. Ben Chilwell's out. What do you think about Leicester going forward? Are you buying this resurgence, or is it more just a flash in the pan?
No, I would even think of selling. I guess if you're high on Vardy, if you still have Vardy, that might be a decent hold. Otherwise, I'm not interested really in Leicester.
Yep, same here. All right, moving on to Southampton. Big news from that match is that Danny Ings scored a goal. Still on the path for the Golden Boot.
Yep, he's staying consistent like discussed.
Yep. Next up, in the last match we have on here, Manchester United did just enough to beat Palace. It wasn't pretty at times, but in the end, their 3 big attacking assets of Bruno, Rashford, and Martial all delivered some points, and they got the clean sheet somehow.
So it's not a big 4, huh? You didn't include Greenwood.
No, Greenwood's been suffering with an ankle injury, and he's been just healthy enough to start the last 2 matches, but he has not looked himself. So
I see.
I could see him getting rested a little bit, maybe in the FA Cup match, maybe in the Premier League, I don't know. But he looks like he's injured right now, or at least he's not at 100% for sure.
Well, overall, I was pretty happy with the result because of Rashford's point. He seems like a great differential compared to Greenwood. Seems like someone everyone kind of jumped on the bus on, and then Rashford now showing some goals. Martial's also been an excellent differential. Everyone has Bruno, so that's not really going to be a differential to help you climb up the ranks. But if you have Anthony Martial, this guy is really going to be the one I would consider captaining of the two if you want to climb the ranks.
Absolutely, yeah. Just based on the eye test from that match, Rashford and Martial were above the rest of the pack.
You could even argue right now Martial has had one of the best seasons for a number 9 in the league right now.
Absolutely.
That's controversial though.
Little controversial, but also kind of hard to argue with Kane having a down season, Aguero being injured for most of it. Those are kind of like the traditional big hitters.
Yeah.
All right, then Watford West Ham still to come, so just keep your eyes peeled for anything that might come out of that. Mainly Mikel Antonio, Troy Deeney, and Ismail Assar are the main assets I'd have my eye on for that.
Mainly going to be Antonio. He's obviously been a huge differential. We'll see how he does this game week.
Yep. Okay, let's move on to the team recap here. So
Yeah,
we will start with your squad. What are your thoughts here?
So overall, I'm satisfied is how I would go with it. Man United, I kind of already said Rashford. He kind of helped me out a lot here. I brought in Jesus. It's always good to see points from him. I bench boosted just because I had it left and I didn't think much of. I thought that the goalkeeper wise, I had a better chance of like getting the clean sheets this week, but I kind of fell through. Aurier, I was happy to see him play. So overall, an okay week just because I got some green arrows.
Yep.
I'm sitting like just around that 400K mark. My goal, I think, is gonna try to get to like under 300K, and I'd be somewhat satisfied with the season.
Okay. What transfer are you gonna make going into 37? Do you think?
Yeah, thinking about that, like I'm not really playing for a whole lot here. I don't see myself being like a top 100K or anything. So I might take it's good to take some risks sometimes. I'm thinking about bringing in a differential player. I'm thinking about getting rid of KDB because everyone's got him.
Okay.
So you mean if he does well, everyone does well, and you're not going to go up the ranks. But if he misses and you've got someone like a Sterling or maybe Antonio, then you're going to see your rank climb. So this is a strategy I'm thinking about in Game Week 37. Obviously, I do still have that free hit available. I'm waiting for 38. I would say anyone that doesn't have a free hit available, you need to keep your transfer. You need to be able to have at least 2 free transfers going into Game Week 38.
Yep.
All the matches start at the same time, so a lot of info can get leaked,
Exactly.
What do you think, Jason?
Yeah, if you have a free transfer heading into 37, unless you have a glaring hole that needs fixing, I would definitely save that heading into 38. Me, personally, I have my free hit left, so that's what I'll be doing.
You're doing it at 37 or 38?
38. Free hit.
Yeah, exactly. 38 is if you got your free hit, 38.
Yep. All right, move on to my team. So that shiny new rank of 34K. Glad to see that big green arrow. Came at the expense of my triple captain, which I played on Bruno. Very frustrating that he didn't do more. He had an assist and a clean sheet. Missed a completely open net. Hit the post. And dying, or kind of like the end of the second half. That was heartbreaking for me, because, that would have been a 15-pointer plus more bonus points at that point, but what can you do? Other than that, I brought in Jesus for this week. Very happy with that move. I brought him in for Vardy, who did get an assist, but Jesus outscored him by a little bit. So happy to see that. Happy to have Jesus going forward. Danny Ings, Rashford, all banked. Martial banked. Defense, I was a little disappointed. John Egan's had some pretty big returns lately. And then Sheffield just kind of fell apart against Leicester. So I think heading into 37, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do yet. I kind of like my starting mid and striker at this point, so I don't know if I want to change anything. So what I might do is just upgrade one of my bench defenders, because I have 2 non-players in Lascelles and Cathcart. And that would just provide coverage for me in case one of my other 3 starters gets benched for this next week. And then heading into 38, I can just free hit. It's kind of my thought process right now.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. So I would make the recommendation that you probably should play it a little safe in game week 37. See how you're doing in terms of rank, how far you are from top 10K, and then if you're like, say, like 30 points or so from top 10K, include some differential players in your free hit team.
Yeah, exactly. The only other move I would think about making right now, which I do have the funds for, would be to move Jesus to Aubameyang or Kane. That would be the surprise pick right there. Aubameyang I really like over the last 2 weeks as he's a golden boot chaser. Granted, with my free hit in 38, it doesn't matter too much, who I move this week. 'Cause I think Jesus is probably going to play, and they have a great match. But Aubameyang's kind of my differential I'm looking at right now.
Yeah, not a bad choice. Yeah, whether you want to do that this week or kind of wait next week, I don't know, kind of up to you. I do like your keeping your Danny Ings, Jesus. If you can make Jesus to Aubameyang, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, so another thing I toyed around with too was maybe moving KDB, which sounds sacrilegious. Move KDB for like Son, because Tottenham have 2 games left with a lot to play for. They're going to go face a completely depleted Leicester defense in this next game week.
So do you feel like you're higher on Son or Kane?
If I had to choose one, I'd go Son because he's a midfielder. His goals are worth more, and he's basically playing as a central striker / support forward right now. So since
Yeah.
he's moved from out wide to the center, I'd have to go him. Plus, he's a lot cheaper than Kane.
Yeah, but Kane is on PKs though too.
That's true as well. Yeah, it's a tough call. I like both
I
of them
would
though.
probably lean Kane. But ultimately, it's up to you. I don't think you would go wrong either way. Both would make probably some good differentials for top 10K.
All right, let's move on. Look at the fixture list. Obviously, there's only 2 left, so not much to look ahead to here. But some of the highlights we want to mention are Arsenal's last 2 fixtures. They got Aston Villa and Watford. As I mentioned, Aubameyang is a strong forward pick for these last 2 weeks. I would definitely look into that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Aubameyang, I would pick Aubameyang over Harry Kane too, by the way.
Yeah, I think I would do that as well.
He's fighting for the Golden Boot.
Plus, Aubameyang just got rested versus Liverpool, so he kind of got his rotation out of the way. So I would definitely think he'll start these last 2 matches.
I'm definitely Aubameyang over Kane.
Yep. One thing to mention is the FA Cup this weekend. So obviously it's Arsenal versus City and then United versus Chelsea. So basically they'll have another game before this game week 37 clash. So injuries can happen, certain rotations might happen. We won't know going into this, so just got to cross your fingers and hope for the best.
So then that also brings a good change though for teams like Liverpool that aren't in the FA Cup. They have a nice full, I believe a full 7-day rest. I'm sure Spurs will have a nice rest too. That's definitely something you should consider.
Absolutely. Moving on, we got Burnley. They have 2 nice fixtures to close out the season versus Norwich and Brighton. Offensively, I'm not going to target them too much, but defensively, I'm pretty happy about them right now.
Yeah, I'm definitely high on their defense, especially that Brighton fixture. They're not great with aerial defense. And they don't have a lot to play for. They just look like they're sitting in the beach.
Yep.
So that's a great one. Like, if you guys have your free hit, I consider Brighton defenders.
You mean Burnley?
Burnley.
Yeah.
My bad. Burnley defenders.
Yeah, I agree with that. Next two on our list are the two Manchester clubs. Both, or United have a lot to play for with decent fixtures. City have amazing fixtures, but not much to play for.
Yeah, I'm so sick of that. I'm so sick of Pep Roulette, man. I'm so sick of it.
It's tough, man. No one can predict it.
We saw KDB bench not full rested for the FA Cup. Ah, jeez.
Yep. Yeah,
What do you think you're going to do with your Man City? You think you're going to hold your assets? Or
I kind of feel like I might hold through 37, but I am tempted to do either KDB to Son or Jesus to Aubameyang. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, but those would be the two moves I might consider. And I really wish I could see their starting lineup for the FA Cup before I made this move, but obviously we can't. So it's ultra predicting Pep at this point, going 2 matches into the future.
Yeah, that's going to be a big play, is getting rid of KDB, actually, to maybe hope he blinks or doesn't arrest again, and then you can have a more differential player in there, like a Son, or maybe even like Sterling. I don't know if he gets time, things like that, or Antonio.
Yeah, I will point out that KDB is only 2 assists away from the all-time Premier League record. So I don't know if Pep will want to appease him by playing him in these last 2 matches so he can go for that. That's one more thing to consider.
That's an interesting stat. The other thing I'd also note, though, is last time KDB started with Silva, he was in a more of a whole, like, he wasn't as advanced as he usually is. Silva played that a little bit more of that advanced role. And then Silva's also been getting the fantasy points, which throughout his career, he isn't known for, but he's definitely hauling currently as he's in this swan song last season.
Yeah, exactly. Silva, I think he'll definitely play in Game Week 38, given that it's his last match, home match with Man City. He did play in 36, so I don't know if he'll start in 37 necessarily, but I think for your free hit in 38, that might be a good look.
I'm a little bit hesitant on saying for sure he's going to play. I think he's been playing so well that I think he's going to be starting against Real Madrid in the Champions League. And I don't know when they play. I think August 6th or 7th. So I don't know how much time that is between whether he wants to rest him for Champions League or something like that.
That's true.
I'm not 100% sure, but I mean, if there's less than like 7 days between Game Week 38 and Champions League, he might get rested. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Okay. And lastly, we'll just point out Southampton. They got Bournemouth this week in 37. And then Sheffield, which was bouncing back and kind of had a relapse versus Leicester in this last week. But all that means is that Danny Ings, especially in 37, is a fantastic option.
Yeah, definitely very high. I'd probably say you definitely should have Danny Ings on your team. Unfortunately, I don't have him on my team right now. But definitely a player you should really... I'll definitely have him in Game Week 38, I think. But everyone should be thinking about Danny Ings if you don't have him yet.
Yep. Okay, well, I think that just about wraps up that portion. Let's move on to our watch list. Not a whole lot's changed here, but the big addition would be Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. I think he's actually Might be the only new addition on here. What do you
Pretty much,
think?
pretty much the only addition. It's kind of unfortunately like a lot of like the Phil Foden owners. He looked promising, but not fantasy wise so far. Other than that, those goals he had so many long game weeks ago now.
Yeah.
Aubameyang's gonna be your great differential. Like we've already said, he's gonna be. I like him over Harry Kane. Martial is also gonna be a huge differential. He scored just about as many points as Bruno, but he's not owned by as many, like hardly owned by as many people. So really think about Martial. That's another excellent choice.
And just looking at his form right now, he is just scintillating. He's unplayable, really.
Yeah. That kind of wraps it up for me in terms of the watch list. Everyone else we've kind of gone over in previous game weeks. And I'm not making too many changes anyways in game week 37.
Yeah. The only thing I'm going to mention on here is my Liverpool strategy, which is nothing. I don't have Salah on my personal watch list anymore. I think Liverpool, they have nothing to play for. They look sluggish. Now that the points record is gone, I could possibly see more rotation. I'm just not feeling Liverpool right now.
Yeah, I see a lot of people feel the exact same way as you. That's why I make the counter that now Liverpool, now they're almost like their players are a differential.
That's
so like
true,
for the
too.
first time ever, we're seeing Mo Salah, who's like 4 goals away from the Golden Boot, as being like fantasy player ownership at such a small percentage. So this is a huge opportunity. If Mo Salah does well, and he's definitely having the chances in every game week. This is someone that can score a hat trick very easily. One of the most explosive players in fantasy Premier League, and he's not owned by as many players as he usually is. So this is another huge route to climbing up the ranks and getting those green arrows.
Yep.
So I have Salah on my team, and I'm holding him.
Okay. So we have 2 differing strategies on Salah. Let's see who comes good in the next 2 weeks.
I'm wishing the best for both of you. I want top 10K. Great. All right, let's move on though.
All right.
Jason, tell me about your checklist.
All right, Game Week 37 plus checklist. Here are 5 ways you're going to get green arrows this week. First, stay strong with your Man United and City assets. They both have FA Cup this weekend, obviously, but then they have a strong fixture coming out of it. United with West Ham, and then City versus Watford. So, predicting City is always tough. With United, I think they'll probably stick with their strong lineup. So for me, I'm staying triple Man United attack, and then with City, I definitely want at least one player from them. Predicting who that's going to be is the tough part. If you want to go 2, I wouldn't blame you as well. Moving on to number 2. So Chelsea assets, I think they can kind of make way if need be, because looking at Chelsea's fixtures, they got Liverpool this week, which granted is not as tough as what it normally might be. And then following that, they have Wolves, which is going to be a very tricky fixture, especially with that strong Wolves defense. And given that Chelsea's defense hasn't exactly been great lately, it's tough for me to really advise investing in Chelsea unless you already have them. Maybe you want to hold Pulisic or Willian, but I would not be doing any new investing and maybe getting out. Third point, Arsenal attack is a fantastic differential for the next 2 weeks. So really, even Aubameyang is huge. I will mention that Lacazette was looking pretty good, but Eddie Nketiah's suspension is up now because the FA Cup game will serve as the last of his 3-match ban. So he is available for selection effective immediately in the Premier League. So that's the only reason I couldn't put Lacazette on there as well. If you want to go the route of like a Bukayo Saka or a Nicola Pepe, That's another great differential as well with those two guys, and also Saka being budget. Number 4, who are you going to captain this week? My strongest options for me personally are a Man United attacker, whether it be Bruno, Martial, maybe even Rashford after his last 2 displays. City, I think they're going to score a lot of points this week, but predicting who's going to play is going to be the tough part, so I'm just putting KDB, David Silva, Raheem Sterling on here. Leaving Mo Salah on for Chelsea. That's mainly for you for this one. Chelsea's defense has been struggling a lot, so if Salah does play, while Liverpool has been sluggish, he's still looked pretty good, so he still has a good chance at some points. And then lastly, I'm going to put Danny Ings against Bournemouth. That could be a strong differential captain pick right there. I think that's one to consider if you're really chasing points.
Mm-hmm.
Fifth point, if you need to kind of like free up some budget to afford some of these big attackers, Everton, Sheffield, and Burnley defenses all have great budget options you can kind of plunder to afford some of your bigger purchases on the attacking end.
Yep. I agree with a lot of your points here. I'd say for captainship, if you got Danny Ings, really consider that. I would probably go Ings if I had him.
Okay.
So Burnley defense, that's also going to be one of my huge points here on the checklist. I definitely have to agree with that one specifically. Chelsea, I'm not 100% agreement with you here. Just because they're still fighting for Champions League, I think they're just about will finish in the top 3, top 4 area. Just about get the Champions League. And if you've got a player like Pulisic, who is you know his class, you know his form, and you know what Chelsea is fighting for. So it's gonna be. I would say it's a hard for me to sell that player with what's on the line.
That's true.
In terms of the City assets, I'm like I said, I'm so sick of the Pep roulette. I think just about everyone has 2 or 3 assets. Not worth a transfer to take them out. Just hold them and just deal with the roulette.
Yep. Yeah, I think for my personal captain choice, I'm leaning towards a Man United asset, mainly because of the Pep roulette. So I'm thinking maybe Martial or Rashford for me, actually. They've just looked so sharp, and Bruno, he delivers almost every week, but he has been looking a little leggy and tired recently. So I might go Martial or Rashford for me. We'll see.
Yeah, I like that Martial pick. Me personally, I'm not 100% sure. I might even just bring Danny Ings on my team. If I do, he'll be my captain. If not, I'll probably go with Salah.
Okay. All right, let's move on. Last one. Who are our top 3 recommended assets going forward? Birat, start us off.
Yeah, pretty much like I already kind of discussed. Mr. Consistent, Danny Ings, a Golden Boot. That's going to be one of my number 1 recommendations. Probably someone I probably just should have kept all season long. My second recommendation is going to be Mo Salah. Like we already kind of discussed, this is hard. Like his percentage ownership is so low that now he's like a differential, and it sounds kind of absurd for a player like Salah. This is another great way to climb the ranks. And then third, you got Tarkowski in there, right? Sorry, I don't got the slides, right?
Yeah, Tarkowski of Burnley.
Exactly, yeah. So I definitely like the CBs for Burnley, especially against Brighton. They've got a terrible aerial defense, so I could even see them on the score sheet, and I definitely could see them keeping clean sheets. Jason, how about yourself?
All right, for me, I'm going to stick with the guy I've had here all along, Bruno Fernandes. Although Rashford and Martial have been a little sharper recently, I still just like his consistency a bit more. I really struggle with this one though. You could realistically put any three of those guys on there, and I'd be happy with it. But just for consistency's sake, I'm just gonna stick with Bruno for now. Second, this one I don't feel as confident in, but the points potential is just too hard for me to ignore. So Raheem Sterling gets the number 2 spot. I am absolutely terrified of the Pep Roulette and getting benched. That's why I don't think I can consider him for a captain option. But with those 2 fixtures they have remaining, it's hard not to look City's way, and he'd be my number 1 guy. And number 3, along your lines, Danny Ings. He's going for the Golden Boot. He's got Bournemouth this week, then finishes up with Sheffield, who have been kind of hit and miss. I think he's just a great option right now. He's definitely Mr. Consistent.
Yeah. All right, well, I think that just about does it for this week. Unfortunately, we weren't able to do our normal videos, but I expect that for the big final game week 38. If you guys like the content, please subscribe, give us a like, and give us some comments on how you think we should improve our teams and and rate your teams as well, or ask questions about transfers is always welcome too. Right, Jason?
Absolutely. And also, let us know who your captain picks are. We're kind of undecided this week, even more so than normal weeks. So I'm interested to see what you guys are doing out there.
Yeah, this whole 36, 37, 38 is just a little bit more cloudy than usual, and usually it is already cloudy.
Absolutely.
So we're definitely, definitely in the air, where there's a lot of people, like a lot of top 10K teams not doing as well, and a lot of top players getting rested, like KDB. So interesting times.
Indeed. All right. Well, good luck out there, guys. Hope you get a green arrow. Hopefully we get green arrows too, and we can all win together.
Yeah, take care, guys. We'll
All
see
right.
you in Game Week 38 preview.
All right. See ya.